A classic.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? I mean, you know it.
You know it. It's just like I called Say I Love You level of pop infamy.
Yeah, I mean, he's on a big run at this time, Stevie.
Yeah.
He's just had I Just Called to Say I Love You,
Yeah.
which was an Oscar winner
Yeah. That's all Gene Wilder's doing.
for The Woman in Red
Yeah.
film.
Wilder said, we want you on the soundtrack to Woman in Red. He was only going to do a song because Dionne Warwick was going to do a lot of it.
Yeah, they do 2 duets on it.
Right, yeah. But then Stevie wrote 8 songs, one of them being called Say I Love You. When he won the Oscar, he dedicated it to Nelson Mandela or something.
There's a song about that on this album, isn't there?
Yeah.
That Part-Time Lover is on, about
What's it
apartheid.
called? Like, It's Wrong or something.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Apartheid is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Apartheid is wrong. Yes, it's really good.
Yeah, yeah. It is good. And they were all doing simple messages. Like, Boy George had his war song. War is
Yeah,
wrong.
war is stupid.
War is stupid, yeah.
This is the sign of the times, isn't it? I mean, because you had Band Aid, Live Aid. Then also you had Stevie Wonder was quite prominent in the USA for Africa one. What was that called again? We Are the World.
Right. And Boy George wasn't involved in Band Aid, or he wasn't involved in the concert or something, because he's really bummed out about it.
Maybe he didn't do Live Aid.
He couldn't make it or something. And
He was definitely on Band Aid.
yeah, he's definitely in that video, isn't he? In a world of plenty, we can spread a smile of joy. I think that's him.
Okay, yeah. Well, I
That
do
line.
remember him being a part of it.
I remember him with obviously big headphones on, holding onto the headphones, closing his eyes, as everyone was doing.
Yeah. It's the look, isn't it?
It's the look, yeah. Such a look. It's good.
The best thing about the We Are the World one, have you watched the documentary about that?
No.
Stevie Wonder helping Bob Dylan with his part. It's fucking amazing. Dylan in his big, awkward fitting leather jacket.
Yeah.
Stevie, do it again. Play that bit again. And he's just like going over and over. And Quincy's like, it's fine. You're doing it fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's just like, Stevie, just what is it again? Just do the...
It's not like what I normally do, like, rah, rah, rah. There's a lot of notes in it.
There's lots of Bob Dylan looking at the camera like, looking completely lost.
Yeah, some guys, like, wow, they really just rock an ill-fitting leather jacket, don't they?
They really do.
There's maybe one circling around your friend group at any one time. And they turn up and they've got the leather. And they buy lots of drinks, but they don't say much. And they're a bit awkward, yeah.
And they never pull.
No. But there ain't no style novices in this record.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
They're both rockers of the braid, I suppose, aren't they? Because Boy
they
George
are,
was more
actually.
braid, wasn't it? Does he actually get to full dreadlocks?
I've seen some interviews and they ask him about dreadlocks. He's like, yeah, I've got some dreadlocks.
That might just be Terry Wogan not knowing what dreadlocks are.
Perhaps, yeah. Yeah. He's referencing the Rasta in some of his looks. And then, obviously, Wonder is the braid merchant.
So this wasn't a released single duet. This is a performance duet. It's the 50th anniversary of the Apollo Theatre. It was a television special and charity event that was for, the Apollo Theatre in Harlem, which was one of the theatres that the Motown Roadshow used to go to. So there's a lot of history, and they make the most of it during this show. It's like 2.5 hours long or something.
Right,
It's a happy hunting ground for duets, for sure.
I bet.
You got Boy George doing this one, and he also does another one with Luther Vandross.
Really?
And the other George, Big George of the 80s, does a couple as well. There's one with Stevie,
Yeah.
and one with Smokey,
Yeah, I saw that one.
the Careless Whisper one. That's what they started the show with, which was bizarre, because Smokey's singing it in a strange way.
Strange, yeah.
But anyway, we might get to that another time.
Yeah. Bill Cosby is chairing the whole thing, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's, in Bill Cosby form saying, I can do what I want, so I'm going to get these guys together on this stage. And
That's what he says, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the host, and what's the sense in being a star if you don't use it and abuse it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which
is-
I know.
Which is him hiding in plain sight,
Yeah. And then he goes, Stevie, hit it.
Yeah, as Stevie says, okay.
Yeah. And then they press play on the backing track.
Oh, God, yeah. This is strange because the whole show has got a huge backing band with obviously great players, but Stevie is in this new world where he is just using synthesizers for pretty much everything except for vocals.
Yeah.
This is like the new age coming in right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Stevie only turned up on that day. They were meant to do Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Right.
George got in the room with Stevie, did a couple of run-throughs of it, and thought that he sounded too weak alongside Stevie, and asked his manager, Tony Gordon, to do a bit of a wrangling. And they decided to do Part-Time Lover. And then I was looking back, and Part-Time Lover actually hadn't been released. So this was pretty canny from Stevie to think, right, I could put my new single onto this big show. And it did end up going to number one in like 4 different charts at exactly the same time. On the pop charts, on the R&B charts, on the adult contemporary chart, and another chart. So really good idea by Stevie, because he could have picked another Motown classic that he wrote.
Yeah.
But no, he's like, oh no, we'll do Part-Time Lover. And that makes me also think that if Stevie turned up on the day of the show and they didn't get to do Signed, Sealed, Delivered, that means that Stevie carries around a copy of Part-Time Lover with him, or it's just programmed into his synths that he moves around with.
Oh, right. Yeah. It could be coming out that synth.
Yeah.
Shit. And old George, he's relative newcomer compared. He's just got to go along with it.
Well, he agreed to it.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want to do Signed, Sealed, Delivered because I sound like shit. And then they say, we'll do Part-Time Lover. And he must have been like, do what? What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Bit of a curveball.
You can hear during the performance, Stevie giving him like a little bit of coaching, saying the line before George says it.
Yeah.
At the end, it's like, me and you, part-time lover. And before George says it, Stevie goes, me and you.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's doing the Gary Barlow thing. He's like,
Yeah.
making sure everyone's doing the right thing.
Yeah. So we meet Boy George again, following along to somebody else's thing.
And doing fine. I mean, it's
Doing
fine.
fine,
It's fine,
yeah.
except a bit of it where, I don't know if the volumes are a bit strange. His backing vocal that's quite controlled, and Stevie's wailing, the main vocal.
Yeah.
And it's about the same volume, and it just sounds a
Yeah.
bit of a bad mix.
Yeah. I mean, some of the comments on YouTube are like, oh yeah, Stevie totally nails him, sort of outshines Boy George. I'm like, well, it's his song. it's not a surprise.
And
he
no one else
only
really
just
knows
learned-
that song.
Yeah. And Stevie has this 2-octave thing where he sings choruses often higher, and he gets the rasping power in it. So when he goes up, Boy George is kind of out of the picture, because Boy George has this voice which is a lot more steady and within one range, and he stays there. So he starts out fine, but then once the wonder kicks in, he does sound a bit lost. And then he does do a little thing with his eyes, Boy George, after that, like, oh God.
he does look a little bit embarrassed by the whole thing.
Yeah.
In the Luther Vandross duet, he said in rehearsal, Vandross used him as a mop. If you watch the performance, he's just basically taking the piss, ad-libbing, and making George look like an absolute novice. And it also looks strange because there's 2 stools, and Luther Vandross is sitting on one of the stools, and the other stool is empty because Boy George is wearing the same
long kind of Blade Runner coat.
Yeah, it's a Gaultier dress coat. And it looks completely unfoldable.
Yeah.
It's so stiff.
Yeah.
So he obviously couldn't sit on that stool. So he's standing behind the stool. And it just looks awful, the presentation of that one.
Oh dear. His look is standing up. the things he wears are always designed to be seen as a full bloke standing.
Yeah.
He's so kind of unsexual in a way. I think that's what makes him so challenging, because it's sort of like, okay, are you trying to be a girl, right, a woman? So you're trying to be sort of like a sexy one? No, you're not doing that. So what are you doing? And people are like, what's going on here? And he caused such a ruckus. I was watching this Donahue chat show. Did you watch that?
No.
With Culture Club. And it's like an hour where he's just answering questions from all sorts of Americans, like some real middle America, conservative Americans whose kids really like Boy George. And they're all just questioning him. Why do you do this? And why does there have to be a message? And why do you wear girls' clothes? And blah, blah. And Boy George is fucking amazing on it. He's so fucking articulate. He's like so intelligent. He's got a point, and he's really passionate about it. And he pretty much converts everyone.
He won't take shit.
He will take no shit. Like, people are trying to compliment him, and he'll just find the sort of prejudice within the comments they've said and just pick at that and nail it. And they'll keep trying to compliment him, and he won't take it. It's like, even and the host is like, yeah, but she's saying she likes your stuff, and he just ignores the host and just. It's like a crusade for Boy George. His career at the beginning, he seems completely on it in various different, like in Wogan, you obviously watched that one, doing his amiable, nice guide, but appeals to the older people and like asks questions from their point of view, and little prods under the belt, really.
Yeah, easy laughs
that are a little bit, let's laugh at the interviewee a bit. And yeah, of course, Boy George doesn't let him get away with any of it. He's fucking brilliant. His whole career seems like much more than just the music. It's just this real massive statement.
Except for the Letterman interview when he's trying to flog his boy Snoopy dolls.
Oh no, I haven't seen the Snoopy dolls.
Yeah. His Boy George version of Snoopy. So it's got the hat and the braids.
Right.
There's also a Mr. T Snoopy around the same time. So he's unashamedly flogging these on the Letterman show.
Yeah.
And then he says that he's got a show coming next week into New York, and his mum's coming. And Letterman kind of offhandedly goes, oh, yeah, you should bring her along to the show. And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, she'll come along to the show. And then, yeah, the following show, Letterman has Boy George's mum on the show.
Nice.
And of course, Letterman is just asking her questions like, when did you first realise that he was a bit of a strange guy? You know, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And she's very sweet, but she's very matter of fact, and she doesn't really kind of give too much away.
Yeah.
And it's quite a dull interview in the end.
Because he really comes across like he's had a pretty good upbringing, like his family are pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's full of fucking confidence. And he always says, yeah, this is just the way I am, and my brothers are the way they are. We've always been allowed to be that, and like my family's always, stood up for people on the street, whatever. Like apparently there was a fire because they lived next to a prostitute, and there was a fire in that house, and his dad went in and carried her out, and she was like dressed in hardly anything.
Wow.
And there's loads of photos of him with this prostitute half naked, and he never lived it down.
What, for being a hero?
For being a hero.
He never lived down being a hero.
Yeah. Nobody cared about that. It was just like, you got a prostitute in your arms. Yeah, you depraved monster.
For saving someone's life.
Yeah. Yeah, he just has that sort of like, wow, you've been brought up really well to be really confident. And you're like 23 and you're on fucking Wogan and you're just saying it as it is and as you feel it. It's cool.
Yeah.
Makes me want to listen to more Culture Club and try and like it more.
Oh, but then you do. You do. And the production on it is awful.
Yeah, it's just sort of tacky, tinny kind of production. It's all the stuff from around that time done not as well as other people do it.
Not as well, yeah. Like not as well as like ABC or the Blue Eyed Soul bands of the early 80s, like
English.
Spandau Ballet or
but it's really fucking popular. Like they managed to break America in a year or so, like Culture Club. All the kids fucking love it. They love his voice. He's such a star, and like
I think it all comes down to his personality, really. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure he was quite prominent in the design of the videos and
He was, yeah. He totally ruled the whole video.
the presentation.
Yeah. It's just got a fucking incredible fashion sense. He looks like a kid singing a solo part in a play for the first time on stage. It kind of looks uncomfortable, but really comfortable at being uncomfortable.
I mean, maybe it's not him that's uncomfortable, maybe it's us that's uncomfortable looking at it.
Yeah, and he's loving that. This show, Donahue, he's wearing this fucking incredible thing. It's like a decadent Persian prince from a fantasy kind of sex book or something, who has the harem or whatever. And it's just this big guy talking really confrontationally, really intelligently, but warmly and not disrespectfully at all, wearing this stuff. And it's very challenging. It's really good. The racial aspects are almost as shocking, maybe, to people as the gender aspects. It's either Persian or like Rastafarian or whatever.
Yeah.
It's something about the combination of it. And he's so damn sober and on point.
You can't help but giggle after everything he says, even if he's talking about
Yeah.
when he's on his southern leg of his 84 US tour and he's being called Devil Spawn and
Yeah.
he's got like signs in this crowd saying God hates queers.
Yeah.
He had to wear a bulletproof vest in Baton Rouge down in the bayou. That's fucking nuts.
In the real bio.
You can imagine presidents doing that or political activists, but like a fucking pop star? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But yeah, he doesn't seem phased.
Instantly, you're reminded of lots of songs because that kind of beat rhythm is so prevalent in pop music.
Early Motown.
Yeah, I mean, You Can't Hurry Love
Yeah, exactly.
comes to mind
That's
instantly.
Yeah.
5 big ones came to mind. So you got You Can't Hurry Love by the Supremes in 66. Then Lust for Life, Iggy Pop,
Right. Yeah.
77.
Yeah.
And then you got Man-Eater by Hall & Oates, which is 1982, so a bit earlier than this. Then This Charming Man by the Smiths.
Yeah.
Same kind of rhythm.
Yeah.
And then the one that is in my head more than anything else is fucking that Jet song from 2003.
Oh, God.
Are You Gonna Be My Girl?
Oh, how's that go?
Well, do.
Yeah. It's basically the swing beat.
Is that what you call it?
Well, that's what we used to call it. If we'd be jamming or whatever. We're like, yeah, try something with the swing beat. Yeah.
Oh, really? You'd call it the swing beat?
But it's like swing jazz, isn't it? Like.
It's a very looking back kind of song, isn't it? It's looking back to his Motown days. I mean, he was still on Motown at this point, but looking back to early Motown.
Yeah, it looks back there, which looks back to jazz. And I think after the Motown, it's looking back every time to there. You know, whoever's doing it. The Strokes as well. They've got a song, haven't they? In the swing.
Last Night by the
Night,
Strokes.
Yeah. A lot of bands, they've got to have their swing number.
Yeah, and why not?
And why not? I don't think the Pixies did it. Or Oasis.
I don't think Radiohead did it.
Or Radiohead. Or Blur. But did Blur do it? Like, maybe, no. Not that fast.
No, I don't think so.
It's like a slowed down Park Life, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's nearly it, isn't it?
Yeah, but slowed down. They had the sense to slow it down and kind of make it so it didn't seem like the same thing. But
Yeah.
oh,
But very,
your
a very,
own
very...
personal Jesus.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, that's their swing one.
It's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, but they only have one. Each band, they can do their swing number, and then you can't do any more than one.
And most of them are hits.
Yeah, we got the swing
People
number.
love
That'll be
it.
a hit. Yeah, but you can't overdo it. You can't hurry the swing beat.
So you've got that. That's the main rhythm. But the actual sound of the song is this quite new, totally synthesized, dry, close, bare production. You can hear every little minute detail, like the little bass runs that are in it that are can a bass player play that? Or he's programmed that so fast in the little breaks going into the next couplet or whatever, or the next verse into the chorus. He'll just do this program bass thing.
Yeah, it's completely airless. It doesn't even bother to try and create fake space. It's just airless, plastic machinery pumping along.
Claustrophobic.
It's quite claustrophobic sounding. It's quite difficult to find anything else within it. It's only what's there. It's like you're trying to look within it and past it, but you can't. It's just there.
It kind of makes your all the soul be in his voice rather than anywhere else in the music. It concentrates it on his vocal performance.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting in that way.
Interesting, because that's a total juxtaposition to the sound of the track. Because his voice is completely super soulful, grainy, human, full of energy, warps from place to place, up, down, growl.
Over this really kind of... Is it flat?
It's just plastic.
There's no Z-axis, what's in front of the other thing. It's like it's flat background, and then I suppose he is in front of that.
Yeah, plopped on top. And the liveness of this version accentuates that even more, because the voice is raw. It's real, like backing and live voice on top.
I listened to it a few times and felt a bit cold.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll listen to it on headphones, and then it was much better because of that intimacy that you get with electronic instruments. All the tiny little details, it does come alive when it's pumped straight into your ears. Whereas if it's into a space through the speakers, it just doesn't have much punch.
Maybe in a club it would sound a lot better, like in a really good system. But you're not wanting that. You're wanting like a Stevie Wonder pop song that's going to fill whatever space you're in, and all that you're left with is the candy pop swing beat little number that's catchy.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a neat... The lyric is a neat little lyric. It has a reveal at the end.
Very neat. So the lyric is about someone cheating on someone else, and all the little clues that they leave for each other to see whether the wife's in or not, or the husband. And it's kind of like from one person's point of view, isn't it? And then at the end is a sort of trick where it turns out that also your wife's cheating on you, and they're doing the same thing because you notice the same things. And it's just very neat lyric, just like the song is very neat.
It's very compact.
Yeah, and I read somewhere that this apparently had happened to him, but actually he was cheating on his second wife a lot, apparently.
Well, he was a legendary swordsman, wasn't he? I mean, he's had 8 kids or whatever, and
yeah, because he just broke up with one wife and then a couple of months later had a kid with someone else.
The backing vocalists on this song, the chorus, not on the version we're talking about,
Not the corner, not the people from the corner.
Not the guys on the corner.
No.
Well, the guys on the corner on this one is what? the Four Tops, Smokey Robinson, and I think Martha and the Vandellas.
Oh, Cosby says they just dragged him off the corner. I get it now.
So in the original, he's got one ex-wife as a backing vocalist, and he's got one ex-girlfriend that he's had a couple of kids with. So he's one of those guys that stays friends with his exes,
Okay, and it sort of works out somehow.
Yeah, there's not too much
dirt
or anything about him.
It's not like he shuns them forever and makes them get on a plane and leave the state or anything. Not sort of Prince levels. I mean, he can't be bad because he's blind, So...
Or is he? Have you heard of the Steve?
Yes, I have.
Have you heard of the Stevie Wonder truthers?
Yeah. The conspiracy.
Do you know where some of that comes from?
Where?
One of the things they cite is a piece in Take It Like a Man, Boy George's biography. When he's talking about this performance,
really,
he says, "At the after-show dinner, Stevie Wonder grabbed me by the throat, probably rewarding me for my performance." The photographer swooped before I could break free. I was angry that he'd made me ridiculous for a second time and wondered how he'd managed to aim so well. Bastard. Bet he can see. This is used by the Stevie Wonder truthers.
Brilliant. Oh, I love this. conspiracy.
And there's another thing. I think it was a performance for Barack Obama or some kind of charity performance. There's a lot of people on stage, and Paul McCartney goes to the piano at the back of the stage, and he knocks a mic stand, and Stevie Wonder puts his arm out and catches it.
Yeah.
And this is seen as proof that how would he know that mic stand has been knocked? And if you watch it, it's like, yeah, I mean, that is a bit strange that he's caught that.
Yeah, but the whole point is his blindness is not necessarily full blindness. It's you see shapes and shit, or you're completely blind. It's all just called blind. So he's got his particular brand of blindness where he might be able to see the shape of a mic stand falling or a neck, but not fully. So it just assumes a lot of stupid stuff.
Stevie is cheating and he's loving it.
With the lyrics, you mean?
He's figuring out ways to keep it discreet. He's enjoying the deception.
Yeah.
He's like having a little fantasy writing this song. He's like, call up, ring once, hang up the phone to let me know you made it home. If that happened a lot, then someone's going to get suspicious.
Yeah.
If someone keeps ringing once and then stopping.
I mean, I'd be suspicious straight off the bat.
What, first time?
Yeah, probably. Who's that?
If this is an ongoing relationship, then this is happening quite often.
Yeah.
And also, it's happening with a neighbour, isn't it?
Is it?
One of the lyrics is, if she's with me, I'll blink the lights to let you know tonight's the night. So the person can see his window.
Yeah. So opposite.
He's shitting on his own doorstep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad idea.
When you start to look at it, really, it's not a very good way of conducting an affair. It's very Hollywood, actually. It's probably in Woman in Red.
It might have been a scene.
Yeah, because that's what's happening in Woman in Red, isn't it?
Oh, really?
Gene Wilder's got a wife and a girlfriend, and then he's in love with the woman in red.
Oh.
Yeah, have you seen it?
No, obviously not. Does he end up with the woman in red?
Yeah, but it's always elusive. Lady in Red kind of thing. Lady in Red. Probably based on Woman in... Don't know if that's part of the soundtrack as well.
No, that was later 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably sort of subsumed into Christa Berg's imagination and then kind of came out as a song, him thinking that he totally came up with the idea himself, even though he saw it just a couple of years before and it's the same thing with a woman in red. Wow. Lady, not woman, yes.
But then Stevie does get kind of... he's in charge, really, because in verse 2, it's like, if I'm with friends and we should meet, just pass me by, don't even speak. So he's laying down the law. This is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
I've thought about this, and I've got the plan, and it's going to work perfectly if you just do it by my rules.
He's probably quite used to everyone doing things by his rules.
He's very
In fact,
entitled.
probably about it. He's fucking entitled because he's got everything going for him. He's blind, genius.
Is
he? Yeah. He's half blind-ish. His parents fucking just took him to the studio and gave him a contract straight away when he was like fucking 13. Got number
11.
one when he was age 13.
11?
11? He's
wasn't
11. Was he?
He was 11 when he first performed at the Apollo.
Right.
Because during this...
Yeah, but
during
his first
this,
number one is when he's 13 with Fingertips, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But during this show, they do a flashback to one of the Motown shows at the Apollo Harlem back in 1962 or whatever it was. And he's 11 and he's doing Fingertips. They show the clip and then Stevie comes hopping on in real life like a child and pretends to be an 11-year-old. He starts to talk into the microphone and he's got this pitch-shifted voice so he sounds like a girl or a tiny person or whatever. A little boy. It's fucking
Weird.
stupid.
Stupid. Yeah.
But he plays up to it. He totally goes for it and
Cool.
bouncing around with like a handler so he doesn't bounce into the orchestra or whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause,
right.
he's blind.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. Blind. Quotation marks. Yeah.
He's a massive part of the whole show. He appears like 4 or 5 times. And he's... Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's crying at the end. You know when at the end of these shows they always get everyone back on stage singing in a chorus, basically. And the song they're singing is fucking Foreigner. And I Want to Know What Love Is?
I Want to Know What Love Is?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I guess it had just been a hit that year or the year before. So it was in people's memories and it was huge. But he's like bawling his eyes out while he's performing this. And it's it's pretty touching, actually.
Maybe his eyes are just watering because he's blind.
Or maybe Bill Cosby's giving him some Spanish fly.
Yeah. What's Spanish fly again? Is that weed?
No, Spanish fly was like this kind of a date rape drug.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that happened, yeah. But yeah, he's entitled as fuck. I mean, God. He's just walked into everything. I mean, I'm basing this on my research for his life is the children's book that we have. You know, this range of children's books.
Yeah.
Special people who are really great.
Who overcame...
They overcame the obstacles of life.
So in this version, they cut out a verse and a chorus that, you know, they have to keep it very snappy, you know, because this is a huge show that has lots of acts, so everything is cut down. And
does it even have the reveal?
It has the reveal,
you know, of the lyrics. Okay.
It does have the reveal. But before that, Stevie takes verse 3 and he's like, I've got something that I must tell. Last night someone rang our doorbell and it was not you, my part-time lover. And then he says, take it, George.
Yeah.
And then George muffs the next line because there's a line about a man called Our Exchange. And I don't think George knew what that meant, really, because that's like a really old version of what phoning people was. So he kind of like... George goes, and then a man Kaporashin. He just makes his own little thing because he thinks it's like... It must be a machine. He's called the machine. You know, that's what people do these days. So he's like kind of brought his modern understanding of...
Interpretation, Okay, yeah. Why is he talking about an exchange? Like
in the 80s.
In the 80s,
Maybe because he's written it in a 60s style. He started to use 60s parlance.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it's based on a really old song that he stole.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Could be.
I have the feeling.
This could be an old...
It has that feeling.
Yeah, it could be an old song that he wrote for Motown years ago that never got picked up.
Yeah. It has that feeling of something ready-made.
Yeah. And it's in that neat 60s really pop way, isn't it? Like, lyrically, having that twist at the end. And it's very, like we said, neatly packaged into a 3-minute pop song. I did want to bring in one of our favourite...
What, Clapton? Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about Clapton a bit.
Did you?
Clapton does come in, like, very distantly.
How?
Of course. Well, back to Boy George and his 6-month heroin addiction.
Addiction? 6 months? I mean...
Well, if you're doing it every day for 6 months.
Well, no, that just sounds decadent.
It does sound decadent, but if you have to... I mean, you're addicted, apparently, to heroin after one shot, aren't you?
After one shot?
One shot. Yeah. Hit.
One shot on the arm.
And I was watching all these news reports of Boy George, drug hell kind of thing. A lot of the stories were focused on he's being treated by Dr. Meg Patterson, who has this special new technique for dealing with heroin addiction, which is a neuroelectric therapy. Where, so like on TVA, not TVM, but like ITV.
Good Morning
News,
Britain.
Yeah, like you got this graphic of a body with these weird electrodes fixed to its head and like a black box which sends loads of electro stuff to the head. And then you see the graphic of pink lines going around the head. And this is Dr. Meg Patterson's controversial but very effective with the celebrities method of getting off heroin, because it just pumps endorphins into the brain, so it doesn't need another hit.
What, electronically pumped in?
Yeah, it's got this electronic box that you wear on your belt
that triggers your endorphin releases or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently works in 10 days.
Well, I'd like to try that.
Yeah. Are you addicted to heroin then?
No, I just want to have
No, just
some endorphin kicks.
Yeah, sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah. Pete Townsend swears by it.
Oh.
He got off heroin, and so did Keith Richards, and also the old Clapper.
Oh, really?
They all had Dr. Meg Patterson's electrotherapy.
And Boy George did too.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very controversial therapy. Lots of people think it's just total bollocks. But
If it works,
it worked for those guys, yeah. 10 days.
Maybe it only works on pop stars.
With lots of money to pay for this incredibly futuristic therapy.
You know, last time we said that Gary Barlow and Boy George had both had credits on Charlotte Church's album.
Yeah.
Well, Stevie Wonder and Boy George both had credits on the Beach Boys' 1985 album called The Beach Boys.
Mm.
They both have a track on that. And guess who else plays on that record? He's one of our go-tos, guitarist.
Oh, really? Old Moore.
Yes! Yeah.
The mind boggles. So Moore was a key part of that then.
Gary Moore played lead on one track, and a couple of the songs, one of them was written by Boy George and his songwriting partner from Culture Club, and another song was written by Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
It's mad, isn't it? The Beach Boys fucking playing a Boy George song. It's crazy.
That is mad, actually. Yeah. 85 Beach Boys. I mean, I don't think I've heard any of that.
I'd never heard the album before, and I listened to it, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, I imagine it must be quite good. Does it have Brian Jones in it, or not Brian
Oh, yeah,
Jones?
Brian Jones is there playing fucking sitar on it. But that was the same year as Part-Time Lover.
Yeah, right. But yeah, Stevie Wonder, this period, this album, it's Stevie Wonder by numbers kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's more of an experimental album with the technology, really.
I actually thought the rest of the album was more satisfying than this single.
Yeah, there's a few songs in this album that are great, like Overjoyed, which is just a beautiful song. But yeah, it's got all the kind of vocal stuff that is so reminiscent of Stevie Wonder, but it's just put with this really dry production that is... It's hard to get into.
But it's also, it's not sort of incongruous enough either to be interesting. Like...
It's not too far out, is it?
No, it's not too far. It's not like Dean Martin doing country.
Like I was thinking like Jazz from Hell, like Zappa's album, which was 1986, which he programmed all through a synclavier, and it sounds so fucking alien. It doesn't sound like musicians are playing it.
Yeah.
It makes your ears kind of go, what's going on? Whereas this, it's almost like he's programmed it so well. It could be some musicians playing it, but like in a really muted way. It's like kind of distant, and he's like kind of just slapped on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is almost like it. Yeah, it still could be musicians, so it's not so interesting. It doesn't go far enough into synth world.
On this song, he's using a Kurzweil, isn't he?
Right.
You know Ray Kurzweil?
No.
He was an inventor and a kind of... he started off as a computer programmer back in the 60s. He wrote programs about pattern recognition and stuff like this quite early on.
Right.
And he developed the first text-to-speech reading machine for the blind. Went into libraries and stuff like that. And Stevie got one, and Stevie got to know Ray Kurzweil. And he challenged Kurzweil to make a synthesized baby grand piano. And the result of that is the keyboard that Stevie is playing on this performance.
Right.
And that he uses around this time for this album and this single.
Oh.
So he was trying to make it sound so realistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wasn't going the opposite way, like industrial music, trying to sound completely different to what music you could make with musical instruments.
Which is why he's not a true synth innovator like some of these podcasts I was listening to were saying.
Oh, come on, he is. Fucking hell. If you listen to like earlier stuff like in the 70s, he's a total synth innovator, like crazy stuff.
Yeah, but he's playing it like a human. He is a human playing it, making the synths do shit, which is cool. But he's not playing with the roboticism of it at all. Not like Donna Summer. like with the arpeggiator, and he's still trying to keep true. He's still quite conservative, actually, as a songwriter. That is good. High ground. He's got the funk. This is the problem. He has the funk inside him, and this doesn't really have any funk.
No, because he's looking back, isn't he? He's looking back on this song.
It's the swing song, so it can't have funk. So it doesn't have a really deep anything. Like, it doesn't have a thing that cuts through in the music.
As a duet, it doesn't really cut the mustard, does it?
No, not really. I mean, they're not really communicating. I mean, Boy George is happy to be there. Looks fantastic as usual in his Blade Runner coat.
Yeah. This is when he's gone to boy version of Boy George, where he's got rid of all the girl looks. 85 is the end of Culture Club, basically. I mean, they released one more album in 86, but it's not that well received, and there's no big singles from it or anything like that.
Is that when he went into heroin as well?
Yeah. Because he had the relationship with John Moss in Culture Club, and then he also had this friendship with Marilyn, and that was the split, I suppose. He was getting more interested in going to parties with Marilyn, getting into drugs, and Culture Club. They couldn't stay together as a unit.
Quite a short career, really.
But impactful.
Huge impact. I couldn't believe how they just broke America so quickly. Many have tried. But he's a big fan of Cliff Richard, actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because he doesn't say what he is, like, because people are questioning his sexuality and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And he doesn't bother addressing it. It's like, Cliff's going up in my estimations.
Oh, we've got to get Cliff back on the show.
We have to get Cliff back somehow. Yeah.
There's so much to Cliff.
Yeah, because we know where we're going now for the rest of this one, don't we? I mean...
Oh, so you know where it's going now?
Is it just Stevie and Prince, or no? Is there another one?
No, there's one more.
Oh, okay, I don't know. Tell me, what's next on the Star Trail?
Next is... I don't want to go here.
Oh, God.
But we're going to go here.
Oh, shit. Is it in the 2000s?
The next performance is in the 2000s, but it's with stars from way back.
Right.
So Stevie, obviously.
Yeah.
And Madonna.
Cool. Pop icon. Great pop tunes. Lots of good pop tunes.
Yeah, but we're not doing it. We're not doing
one of those. No.
We're not doing one of them.
Is this going to be like some kind of warbly, soundtracky,
No.
Or is it going to be like electronic-y, weird?
No. This is actually going to be related to our anchor. So Stevie Wonder and Madonna performing Purple Rain.
Ah, yeah, great.
To get us back to Prince.
Okay.
So we're getting extra Prince content.
Prince points picked up along the way.